Hi again, friends. This is just another little video to show another little aspect of this hobby that I so enjoy. And these are two teletype machines. You can see one is on the right is narrow, and these are both Model 28s, but from the Teletype company. The unit on the right is a KSR, which stands for Keyboard Send and Receive, meaning the keyboard is how you send and the page printer is how you receive. And the bigger one here is, I'll try to zoom in a little bit. The bigger one here is a 28 ASR, which is automatic send receive. And this also has the keyboard for sending and the printer for receiving, but it also has a few other things. Here is a tape punch, which will produce 5-bit, maybe easier to see, this is holes in a paper tape, which can contain a message. Here's a roll of the tape. And so it can punch your message onto tape, or if you're receiving copy from over the air or over an audio circuit, you can store the message essentially on tape. And that's very useful when you need to resend the message to other stations, for example. And then this here is called the TD, or transmitter distributor. And what this will do is this will take tape and read it. It will read the tape and transmit the data on the tape, the information on the tape. It'll transmit it to the loop. The loop is where all the communication actually occurs, over a 60 milliamp current loop. And so what do you say we get these things fired up and let's see what it can do. So the first thing we're going to do is, so we've got these two units, the KSR and the ASR, in a jack field here, which as you plug a new jack in, everything it becomes in series with the previous jack, and also in series with one of these HAL units. The purpose of these HAL units is to translate audio signals that you might receive over the air, for example, into the current loop signals, and vice versa when you're sitting at the keyboard of a teletype to convert the current loop signals into audio signals for transmission over the air. But today, the other important function this provides is the actual current loop. And if you can see here, we've got a 60 milliamp current loop. It's just a hair over 6.6, well, 60 milliamps. So, and that's what we're going to be using today. We're not doing anything on the air today. We're just using the current loop and have the two units connected to the current loop all in series. So the next thing we want to do is, this I may go to a wide angle for here, is let's start up each unit. And let's start up this unit. It may get a little hard to hear me over the noise. All right. So now both units are running in a closed mode. And what you can see here is as I type on the keyboard, I'm just typing junk. I don't know if you can see that. Probably could use some new ink in the cartridge, in the ribbon. And you'll also see it printed out here as well. That's because the two are connected together in a current loop, in a series current loop. And likewise, if I type on this, see, I wrote "this is great." Oh, I almost wrote "this is great," and it comes out here. So the other thing I'll show you, let's go into, is I'm going to run this tape. I'm going to run this tape through the machine here. And we'll see the contents of the tape will print out on both page printers. So we do that by switching this down to run. And you can see it feeding through. Again, it has the exact same information on both because the tape is feeding the common loop. They're quite marvels to watch operate. And what you'll see is the tape is going to run out soon, and when it does, it'll stop printing. Yeah, and that's the contents of the tape. What this tape actually is, let me shut everything off, and I'll tell you a little bit about this. These machines were both used on a Netflix television series called The Good Girl Revolt. It's about a newsroom in the late 60s, or mid to late 60s, and what the women had to go through back then with, you know, not being treated equally and all those other things. So these machines were, I rented these machines to that production, and they were overseen by K2TTY Jack Hart, a famous East Coast teletype enthusiast who passed away a few years ago. But he punched this tape for the TV series, so they can have these machines actually be running. And if you watch the first episode, the pilot episode of Good Girls Revolt on Netflix, you can see my machines and a couple of machines from Jack himself. So this is what the machines look like closed, and this is the typical way you operate them. They both have a place where you can put copy, so if you're sending a message, or for example, it's printing a message on tape, you can hold the copy there. They both have a similar copy. So I'll just run it one more time, and so you can hear it's much quieter with the tops down. All right, we've reset the tape back to its position, and let's start the tape and watch it go, and you can hear it's much quieter. And you may recognize the sound as what newsrooms used to sound like. And there are some radio stations in the U.S., mostly on AM, like 1010 WINS, WINS, where they have this sound playing in the background of the newscast to give the feeling of a very exciting breaking news, information coming over the wire. This is what wires used to be like. And the other thing we could do is we can punch the tape. We can create we can copy, whoops. So here, with a flick of a switch, I'm now punching tape, which will be a copy of the original tape. So you can always make a copy of it. This is slightly different than the original tape in that these has full holes. And this has what are called toilet seats, or Chadless holes, but it functions the same way. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed a little video on the Model 28 teletypes. More to come for sure.